हेलो स्टूडेंट्स। आज हम लोग काफ़ी टाइम बाद मिल रहे हैं एंड दिस साइड डॉक्टर नेहा जैन। हम वापस से अपनी लेक्चर सीरीज स्टार्ट करने जा रहे हैं फॉर दिसंबर 2025, राइट। तो अभी हम लोग अपने बेसिक फॉर्म्स ऑफ लिटरेचर का, जैसे कि मैंने आपको हमेशा से कहा कि ये पार्ट बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, आज हम इस पार्ट में देखेंगे अपने फॉर्म्स ऑफ लिटरेचर में मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट पोइट्री के ऊपर आपके पास हर बार एक क्वेश्चन आते हैं, आपके कॉम्प्रिहेंशन आता है। इसमें पोएटिक टेक्निक्स की हम बात करेंगे। पोएटिक टेक्निक्स क्या होती हैं एंड what are the poetic techniques which are majorly used in poetries and do confuse students। तो उन्हीं चीजों को लेकर मैंने आज पीपीटी बनाई है। Let's start with your studies। पोएटिक टेक्निक्स, एक पोइट्री को लिखने के लिए हम कौन कौन सी चीजों को, रिटोरिक्स को, लिटरेरी टर्म्स को, लिटरेरी डिवाइसेस को यूज करते हैं उसको मोर ब्यूटीफुल एंड इम्प्रेसिव बनाने के लिए, वो पोएटिक टेक्निक्स को हम देखना चाहते हैं। फर्स्ट, हमारी लर्निंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या है, क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं हम इन सब चीजों को। व्हाट आर द लर्निंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स फॉर पोएटिक टेक्निक्स। सो वी विल लर्न अबाउट द टेक्निक्स पोएट्स यूज्ड टू कन्वे मूड and communicate meaning, so we can analyze how they are used in a range of text। किस तरीके से ये यूज किया जाता है, the techniques which are being used basically for analysis, right? These techniques are mainly used for the purpose of analysis। हमारे इसके अंदर जो कंटेंट रहेगा, इंट्रोडक्शन रहेगा, साउंड्स of the words, meaning of the words, arrangement of the words, imagery of the words, and then questionnaires। So introduction। अब introduction में first क्या है, poets are limited in the material they can use in crediting their work, creating their work। All they have are words to express ideas and emotions। These words need to be right on several levels at once। बहुत सारे लेवल्स पे बहुत सारी चीज़ों को एक साथ रिलेट करने के लिए, क्रिएटिव बनने के लिए पोइट्स को बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है। सबसे पहले क्या है, दे मस्ट साउंड राइट टू द लिसनर एज दे आर रीडिंग अलाउड। हमें ऐसे वर्ड्स यूज करने चाहिए जो when the poet is reading or someone else is narrating the poetry, that should be particularly रीचिंग टू द ऑडियंस। जब भी ऑडियंस उसे सुने, उन्हें डायरेक्टली वो समझ में आए, वो प्रॉपर्ली उसके कंटेंट तक, उसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट तक रीच कर पाए, उस तरीके के वर्ड्स हमें चूज कर रहे होंगे। इट्स नॉट कि द वर्ड्स हैव अ सिमिलर साउंड, होमोफोनिक एंड ऑल एंड दैट कैन कंफ्यूज द ऑडियंस बिकॉज यहाँ पे लिसनर्स हैं। दे मस्ट हैव अ मीनिंग which is clear and thought provoking। जो भी वर्ड्स हम वहाँ पे ले रहे हैं, स्पेशली द मोस्ट मीनिंगफुल वन should have a particular meaning and that meaning should be very clear। It should not be confusing। They must be arranged in a way that is easy to follow but also assist the reader's understanding। किसी भी तरीके के वर्ड्स हम यूज करते हैं which can be arranged in a way, इस तरीके से उन्हें अरेंजमेंट उनका होना चाहिए that is easy to understand। Next, they must encourage deep thoughts or emotions while appearing simple or self-contained। वो बहुत सिंपल वर्ड्स होने चाहिए इन अपीयरेंस, अगर हम उन्हें देखते हैं तो वो बहुत सिंपल हो, लेकिन जब उनका मीनिंग निकल कर आता है तो दैट इज वेरी थॉट प्रोवोकिंग। सिंपल वर्ड्स में बड़ी बात कहना इज कॉल्ड एफोरिस्टिक स्टाइल, उसी की इन्होंने बात करी है। नेक्स्ट, नाउ पार्ट 1, द साउंड्स ऑफ द वर्ड, जिसकी हमने बात करी कि द साउंड्स जो है वो किस तरीके का होना चाहिए कि वो होमोफोनिक ना हो, क्लियर हो, किस तरीके के वर्ड्स हमें लेने चाहिए। Certain words can be selected and grouped together to achieve a specific effect when we hear them। कुछ words इस तरीके के होते हैं जिनको कि हम जब सुनते हैं तो वो similar sound करते हैं, achieve a specific effect when we hear them। और कुछ words इस तरीके के होते हैं जो common होने के बावजूद भी उन्हें सुनने के बाद एक अलग special effect feel होता है। So the words that can created might sound pleasing or soothing, clever or rhythmic, or harsh and uncomfortable to hear। We should not choose such words which are harsh, uncomfortable to hear, which have a specific meaning, which is leading to a certain direction, which can impact you negative। We should avoid these words, okay? The following poetic devices can affect the way a poem sounds when read aloud। एक जो भी words हैं, सब सारा लिटरेचर वर्ड्स का ही खेल है। The poets should choose such kind of words when they can be heard aloud, they can have an impact in the mind of the readers and listeners, जो पढ़ रहा है एंड जो बोल रहा है, क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है ना कि पोएट हर जगह अपनी पोएम खुद ही सुनाएगा, हम भी नरेट करते हैं, हम रिसाइट करते हैं अपनी पोएम। तो जब when anyone is narrating or reciting the poem, he and the listeners both are getting equally affected by the words are choose to be written in the poem particular। तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हम words को wisely choose करें। Second, it's important to remember that these deliberate arrangement of words can convey a particular sense of mood, atmosphere and emotion। It's very important to remember that these deliberate arrangements, ये deliberate arrangement is जैसे जैसे पोइट्स के दिमाग में वर्ड्स एंड थॉट्स आते हैं वो उन्हें कंपाइल करते चले जाते हैं। तो दीज डेलिबरेट अरेंजमेंट ऑफ वर्ड्स कैन कन्वे अ पर्टिकुलर सेंस ऑफ मूड, एटमॉस्फेयर एंड इमोशन। वो उस पर्टिकुलर जो थॉट पोइट्स के दिमाग में है वो लिसनर्स ऑडियंस के दिमाग में भी आए, उतना उसका इम्पैक्ट होना चाहिए। Then alliteration, we know alliteration is a similar sounding words which we use to pick. So this is the example. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled papers. These are alliterations. So the consonantal sounds are repeated in this particular form. This is alliteration. This impacts a lot. Second, assonance is again repetition of word but of vowels. So I felt stressed and restless. Let's ठीक है, this sound. The draper lad chattered on the other. Happy chap. A का sound यहाँ पे repeat हो रहा है. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is when the sounds are given the shape of a word like drip, drip, drap, drap, tap, tap, clunk, clunk, clap, clap. Right? The clang. When the pots are being met together, like the sound of clapping of the pots, so the clang of the pots and pans woke the baby. ठीक है, बर्तनों के खनकने की आवाज. This is the clang of the pans in the pot. The wolves howled at the night. Zoom, zap, zip, and clap, drum, beat, tap. ये सब onomatopoeia. Repetition of line or words or phrases is also used to put a lot of impact on poem, because the repetition of the line do the repetition of the emotion as well in the poet, and the readers or listeners get to know that actually this is the basic idea the poet wants to convey again and again. I will not brush my hair, I will not wear a dress, I will not clean my room. So this is neither willingness is not there. Right? So the basic idea the poet wants to say that I don't want to do all these things, then what the rest things are. Rhythm is when words are arranged according to the stressed and unstressed level. I told you that there are 6 types of stressed like rhythms are there: iambic, anapistic, tactile, trochaic, and spongiae and pyrrhic. These are the kinds of 6 types of rhythms are there which have a system of unstressed and stressed syllables and their arrangements. So that is what we call rhythm. Rhythm schemes that refers to words that have different beginning sounds but those ending sounds alike, including the final vowel sound and everything following it. A, B, 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 C, C, ये सब हम rhythms को बोलते हैं. The rhythm scheme refers to the pattern established by the arrangement of rhythm in a stanza poem, generally described by using letters of the alphabet to denote the recurrence of rhythmic line. Recurrence, barbar reappearance of the rhythmic lines like A, A, B, B, C, C, D, D. Then again it's A, A, B, B, C, C, D, D or E, E, F, F, G, G. So this is kind of the reoccurrence of the similar kind of pattern is being followed. Capital letters in alphabetic rhythm scheme are used for the repeating rhyming words at the end of each word. It's like हम यहाँ पे देखते हैं S, T, S, 2, तो ये यहाँ पे हमने अगर A लिख दिया, and this is B, this is again A, C. ठीक है, अगर ये पोयम है तो हम इसको इस तरीके से करेंगे ए, तो इट्स ए बी ए सी ए, 5 लाइन स्टैंजा हमने इसे बना दिया। तो दिस इज हाउ द राइम गोज ऑन। The meanings of words. Now, second part. How the meanings of the particular words do affect a poetry or its emotion, or what can be carefully selected to convey a precise idea. But some words can carry several layers of depth of meaning at the same time. हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि कुछ words जो हैं particular idea को lead करते हैं, लेकिन कुछ words बहुत सारे आइडियाज को लीड करते हैं। इसको ऐसे भी समझा जा सकता है, इसको ऐसे भी समझा जा सकता है। Some kind of when the poem is satiric, when it is commenting on something, when it is an indirect speech, then there are many layers of words जिसको हम बोलते हैं ironic meaning। ठीक है, so poets can use these or combine them with other words for particular effect. Such techniques that can enhance the meaning of words are इनको हम literary devices बोलते हैं। We can say the meaning of words and these things are called literary devices. First is simile. This is the easiest one, the comparison between the two unlike things with the word like and as. तो यहाँ पे कोई भी दो चीज हो सकती है। It can be living, non-living, so they are like, you can say the comparison between two different things can be used to show like they are similar, right? Like the desert was dry as a bone. A bone of a dead animal is dry. A bone of a living animal is wet. So, as a bone, her tempers were like an uncontrollable storm. तो उसके टेम्पर या टेम्परामेंट्स मूड्स को किससे करा? अनकंट्रोलेबल स्टॉर्म जो किसी भी डायरेक्शन में कहीं भी फ्लो कर सकता है। He is as cool as cucumber. So there are no comparison between two things, but they are being compared. Metaphor again. A kind of implied simile. हम इसे क्या बोलते हैं? उसमें comparison है, इसमें implication है। तो it is an implied simile. जो comparison वहाँ किया गया है, उसको यहाँ पे imply कर दिया गया। He is as cool as cucumber, यहाँ पे he is like cucumber, और he is cucumber, तो he is cool। ठीक है, वहाँ पे as cool एक characteristic को compare करा है। His temperaments, her temperaments, तो that is उसके mood को वहाँ compare कर रहा है। She is in storm, ठीक है, she is an uncontrollable storm, तो this is an implied simile। उसको character को ही वैसा समझ लिया, हमने उसे metaphor की तरह लिया, ठीक है। दूसरा क्या था वहाँ पे? He is as cool as cucumber is like he is cucumber. It's like he solved his cool. First one was desert and bone. Yeah, the desert is like a dry bone. यहाँ पे वो comparison दिया गया है, but we will say the desert seems as a bone, a dry bone. ठीक है, तो dry as a bone that can be an implied कि हम desert और bone को इसमें metaphor use नहीं हो पाएगा वैसे, ठीक है। It's not compulsory कि हर simile को हम metaphor में change कर पाए, ये भी यहाँ पे हम एक नई चीज सीख रहे हैं। So creates a comparison by stating that one thing is another already. Does the action of others. ठीक है, the wind has a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. So was a torrent of darkness. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees कि हवा उस चीज को और बढ़ा रही है। Her finger danced like a personification across the keyboard, right? Her fingers danced across the keyboard. Her stomach was a twisted storm of butterfly. ठीक है, obviously a stomach cannot have butterflies, but as a twisted storm of butterfly, like कि हम बोल रहे हैं it's empty. Now personification जो वहाँ पे fingers के साथ करा, fingers cannot dance, we used to make it dance. So personification is when the non-living things are compared with the living being, like human is the only living being according to the English philosophy, and the others are all non-living. Even the animals are counted as a non-living. They used to call it it. So it's a cat, it's a dog, so they are all non-living beings. So attributing human characteristics to anything as an abstract idea is personification. As I climbed the staircase growled as if awoken from a long sleep. So obviously staircase cannot awoken, cannot awake, but it's like, as I put, it sounds like. Okay, the day crept by slowly and sorrowfully. Day cannot pass on, day cannot crept, it's cannot creeping, आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता. It's, we are having a like a sorrowful day, right? So this is personification. Symbolism, when you are putting some symbols for the another, is symbolization. Here I can say like with a to represent a deeper meaning, it's like pen is mightier than sword. This is symbolism. Pen is a symbol of education and sword is a symbol of cruelty and uncivilization. So this is symbolism. So if I say the dove is a symbol of peace, this is very straightforward. A red rose stands for love, and skull for death, fork for fork in a road may symbolize the choice or decision. So these are the symbols you can see on a road: red light, no U-turn, right? So these are the symbols. This को symbolism बोलेंगे कि हम किसी भी चीज को we can understand, and even if it is written in words we can understand that. Now the third point is word choice. How one has to do the word choice while writing a poem. Its connotations are the ideas or feeling evoked by the word. Connotations क्या है? They are the ideas or feeling which can be evoked by words. These are the implications and association we might form which are different to a word's literal meaning. ये हमेशा किसी भी word के literal जो meaning है उससे different होते हैं, तो we have to understand them as like what we are attributing to something. हम किसी की जगह replace करके कोई और word ले आए to give a more better and deeper meaning, right? The word animal and beast refers to the same type of creature, but animal can be innocent, and a dog is also an animal. A rat, a pigeon, a rabbit, smaller cute dogs. All the pets are also animal, but beast is wild and carnivorous. They can be harmful, right? So this is the connotation for something. If I say he's an animal, so it can be good, it can be bad. But if I say he's a beast, that means he is savage, he is wild, he is harmful. It's a negative word. Okay. Example: house and home. House can be of anyone else. I visited a house which was good. I came back home. So, घर और मकान दोनों में फर्क है. These are the choice of words. Now, other language feature, sometimes to enhance the beauty, poets used to involve some foreign words in their poetry to give a beautification and more impact to their presentation of emotion in poetry, so that they can be impactful to the readers as well. So now here the thing which they use is paradox. Paradox क्या होता है? Statement which seems contradictory but is came back home. So घर और मकान दोनों में फर्क है. These are the choice of words. Now other language feature, sometimes to enhance the beauty, poets used to involve some foreign words in their poetry to give a beautification and more impact to their presentation of emotion in poetry, so that they can be impactful to the readers as well. So now here the thing which they use is paradox. Paradox क्या होता है? Statement which seems contradictory but has been written. जो लिखा है उससे कुछ अलग ही truth वहाँ पे है, unexpected truth है, which is about to reveal. So you have got to be cruel to be kind. This is paradox. कि अगर आपको if you are kind, you have to be cruel sometimes. Like if we are very kind to our own children, we want to give them everything, but sometimes we have to be cruel. So it's like you have got to be cruel to be kind, right? Sometimes you have to be strict. Oxymoron are the two opposite altogether, like bittersweet, clearly confused, and he is what else we can say? He's seriously funny. Deafening silence. He's carelessly careful. These are the contradicts each other. But both the words should be alongside. एक साथ होने चाहिए. यहाँ पे अलग-अलग है. Euphemism. Euphemism is when you are expressing something harsh in a very sweeter or I should say understanding way. Like some harsh message is being delivered in a soft way, that is euphemism. And it is kind of understatement when you are reducing the effect of your thing to deliver it so that it won't hurt people. Most probably it is being said that euphemism is delivering an understated message, like a harsh message in a soft way to reduce its harsh effect. This is euphemism. So it is a harsh satire most of the time which has been delivered in an easier way. So used to lessen the effect of the statement. So she is at rest, that means she passed away. I need to use the ladies' room. I need to go there because it's an emergency or something. But someone is requesting, a male is requesting to go to the ladies' room. Right? I'm currently between jobs. That means jobless. She's a late bloomer. That means whatever it comes, she understands very late. She doesn't update herself on time. Right? Idiom. A group of words which has a specific meaning and being established by usage as having a meaning, not deducible from those of the individual words. So it's like I was over the moon. Right? I was chocolate with enjoying things. Put in some allegories, right? She was sitting in fans. I have my finger on my pulse. That is how I was reading numbers. Now, metonymy, when you are using a very closely associated word to replace the actual thing. That is what we call metonymy. That is, this example I have taken. The sword is for cruelty and war, and pen is for education and compromises. Right? Allusion are the past life or biblical references when you are using biblical as in mythical. Mythological references when you are using in your text or poem to give it a moral look. That is, we call allusion. I thought the software would be useful if it was a Trojan horse. Trojan horse is not basically mythological, but it is a mythological or historical reference. What is a Trojan horse? Trojan horse is a name of a, you all must know that is a computer virus. If it enters, it used to crash the whole system and there is no cure for it even now. So Trojan horse is a word being given to the particular computer or software virus because it has been taken from that great Iliad, the Trojan horse, which enters the city of Troy, and the city of Troy, which was unwinnable, which was meant to win, was destroyed ultimately. कोई उसे हरा नहीं पाया. 10 साल तक Greeks were fighting against it and they were unable to defeat Troy. But as Trojan horse enters, they spread everywhere within hours and it crashes the city. It was put to fire. Similarly, this virus is also like that. Chocolate cake is my kryptonite, that is, I'm addicted to it. Anyone can give me and ask for it. Kind of goose So the arrangement of words. Now how the words should be arranged. The poet decides on how the words are arranged into a certain order or sequence to achieve particular effect. This is very important, that the words, how the words are being chosen, how they are sounding, how the rhythm is being set, and how. Because arrangement of the word leads to the rhyme and stress and unstressed order. Everything is being dependent on the arrangement. आपने theme choose करी, subject choose करा, verse choose करी, comparison choose करा. Now the thing is the arrangement of the words properly so that they can have a particular rhyme and stress and unstressed system, that is a rhythm and rhyme system. So some words are used to identify the structure and arrangement of the poem as follows. Yes, now it's a big declaration that as Raksha Bandhan is coming, Film Academy has also an offer for all of the students. Whatever course you opt here for the teaching, whatever course you are opting with us for the TGT, PGT, Altigrade or UGC NET in the teaching section, we are giving you 25% off on all the courses from 1st August to 10 August. This is the offer going on because actually some students called me today and they have asked for some offers, so I thought to give it because already the batch is started. That has been made for UGC NET, but for all the sections of TGT, PGT, Altigrade and UGC, I am just offering you 25% off with us. So come on, be fast and grab the offer. It's never lasting, it's the first day, so I'm declaring it. Now, point of view. The vantage point of a speaker in poetry is also sometimes refers to the persona. एक पर्सन, एक पोएट किस तरीके से बात कर रहा है उसमें या किस तरीके के आइडियाज को वहां दे रहा है, उससे उसकी पर्सनालिटी रिफ्लेक्ट होती है. That is called persona. So first is first person poetry, speaker or the character becomes the main idea. Then second person, an unusual storytelling by addressing someone else. Third person, when you are an omnipotent and visualizing everything and you are narrating the story. Third person omniscient. That is what I meant. Third person limited is. Speaker is not a part of the story but is telling someone else's story. There is a limitation, but if you are an omnipresent character, then you can narrate it as you are a inbuilt part but indirect part. Now verses and stanza. A verse is a single line of a poem arranged in a metrical pattern. A stanza is a group of verse where lines are arranged into a unit and often repeated in the same pattern throughout the poem. We know the rhyming scheme we used to put it in the first para and all the other para used to follow it. Poems are made up of multiple verses and stanza, and poets can make particular choices of the length of and number of verses in a stanza for various purposes. कई लोग सॉनेट्स लिखते हैं, कुछ ओड्स लिखते हैं, कुछ बैलेड्स लिखते हैं, कुछ कपलेट्स लिखते हैं. So we have to decide that which pattern we need to follow. What is the purpose of choosing that pattern? So everything reflects the motive of writing the particular poem. Now, enjambment. Enjambment when the lines are running over one another, that is enjambment. So इसमें incomplete sentence होते हैं, run over होता है, एक के साथ दूसरा जुड़ा हुआ है, without punctuation चीजें आगे बढ़ती चली जाती हैं. It might be used for the following reason. Foster fluidity to allow a more narrative-like style within a poem as thoughts are not confirmed in a single verse. एक पैराग्राफ के अंदर जब लाइन नहीं खत्म हुई तो हम उसे सेकंड थर्ड पे रन ओवर करते हैं. Increase the pace and momentum by eliminating pauses at each line break so the reader continues on to the next line and verse. जब increase the pace and momentum by eliminating pauses, उसकी continuity को बढ़ाए रखने के लिए, बनाए रखने के लिए उसमें से pauses and punctuation marks को निकाल दिया जाता है. Move the readers forward to reach the resolution of the poet's thought sooner. जैसे कि जो readers हैं वो resolution means end part, conclusion पे जल्दी पहुंच जाए और interest के साथ पहुंच जाए. Now poetic form, blank verse, you all know that is only thing that is iambic pentameter has to follow. There is no rhyme. Rhymed poetry जिसके अंदर blank चाहे कोई भी poetry हो लेकिन उसमें कोई भी pattern iambic और not iambic but it's like any kind of rhyming pattern is being used, that is called rhyme poetry. Then free verses जिसमें कोई rule नहीं है. Ballet, they have to follow some particular rhyming scheme and the pattern, that is 4 or 6 para system. Sonnet, a 14-line poetry. Limerick, a 5-line poetry, and always used to give a funny satire. The image of the words, the fourth part. Although poem explore deep human emotion or thought, an audience won't generally respond very strongly, and thus the poet creates imagery. जब तक एक पोइट्री के अंदर कोई एक पर्टिकुलर इमेजरी, स्टोरी और एक आइडिया बहुत क्लियरली समझ में नहीं आता, तब तक ऑडियंस या रीडर्स उससे रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करते, उस पर एक पॉजिटिव रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आता है, वो लोगों को पसंद नहीं आती है. तो it is very important for a poet to give a clear picture that what he or she wants to say. So these are the vivid mental pictures or sensations created through descriptive words. उसमें कुछ एक वर्ड्स ऐसे होने चाहिए जो उस पिक्चर को बहुत अच्छे से डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हो, उस आइडिया को बहुत अच्छे से डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हो. विजुअल इमेजरी, like imagery that calls upon our sense of sight, ठीक है, जिसको बोलते पढ़ते हमारे दिमाग में एक शेप बनकर आती है, उसको बोलते हैं विजुअल इमेजरी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द शिमरिंग सन, तो वी अंडरस्टैंड इट इज like a summer sun. Olfactory imagery. Olfactory is like the sense of a smell, ठीक है, like the sweet Arabian scents. Lady Macbeth was washing her hands again and again with the sweet Arabian scents, but the smell of blood was not washing out. So we understand that she was trying to put the fragrances on her hand, and we understand the Arabian smell because they are always uses a flower smell, a very strong flower smells. So oral imagery which can be created by the sound, like onomatopoeic words, tap tap, breeze, whisper, chirping of the birds, clapping of the hands, and clunging, that is the horse टॉक 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 साउंड होता है, ठीक है. इस तरीके के हम जो वर्ड्स हैं उससे साउंड्स वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड. टैक्टाइल इमेजरी, दैट इज ऑफ द टच. I said कि like in the mouse, in the man and the mice, he said that the character Stuart was fond of soft hairy things. He cannot put her hand off on such kind of soft things. So whenever he touches, he wanted more and more, and in the same passion or kind of emotion, he killed the wife of the owner of the farm. So he was wearing a soft scarf. So he was just grabbing it and was playing it hard. It was soft. जब आपने कई बार छोटे बच्चों को देखा होगा, if you give them the soft toys, they used to do it like they love it. So it's like soft, जो इस तरीके के soft toys type thing होती है, which is hairy, which is soft, which is cottony. So that I have given you example. So we can feel it by only reading. If I say for something like it was as harsh as a stone, so I understand, yeah, its body is so harsh. It's maybe a rough skin, maybe it's hands of a hard-working labor, right? So we have a sense of touch. We can assume it. We can have an imagery of it. Then gustatory imagery, that is of taste. If I said it was taste so nice, it was chocolatey, the grass sprinkled his skin as he lay on this sports ground. So prickled is like the grass prickled his skin. That is very harsh. It was salty, right? This is the kind of a sense of taste we used to have sometime. Okay, kinesthetic, a movement. We can understand the movement, kinesthetic imagery. So tripping and stumbling, she lures toward the traitor with her arms outstretched. वो लुढ़कते पुढ़कते ऐसे आर्म्स को फैलाए हुए अपने ट्रेटर की तरफ, अपने धोखेबाज जो भी उसका फ्रेंड उसकी तरफ भागे चली जा रही है. So kind of that. So we can understand the momentum when it is like the arms outstretched. We know that one wants to grab it. तो अगर कोई चोर जा रहा है तो you are like this, you are running. So we understand the sense of momentum. And what is the conclusion? Now, in the module, we explored the powerful techniques used in poetry, ranging from the sound device like alliteration, onomatopoeia, to the rich imagery of the structural tools like enjambment, stanza formation. Understanding these elements help us appreciate how poets craft emotion, rhythm, meaning through their words. That how you are reciting something is also very important. So poetry is more than just expression. It's a deliberate and artistic communication that resonates with readers. Now, with this knowledge, you are equipped to read, interpret, and even create poetry with deeper insight and awareness. So, here I am concluding my things. Here I am concluding my idea about the poetic devices. Here what we are to tell you that poetic devices are actually very important. They are, if they are not being used, then the poetry will be like prose. So it is very important to put them in rhythm, to use certain devices, to use certain like equipment or stylistics to enhance it, right? So this is what poetic devices is all about. In the next class, we will talk more and more things which are actually important for your poetry and poetic portions, right? So this is about us. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire, right? Welcome to all of you. Again, to the ending note, I want to bring your notice to the same thing, that we are offering 25% off on all our courses from 1st to 10th August. So be quick in your registration with us. Already the batches has started. Guys, you will get the best classes over here, that I can promise. And even you can read my reviews visiting my website or on YouTube. You won't get the fake reviews here, because we don't put any fake reviews, or our partners doesn't do that. So these are all real reviews. The students are enjoying and they are appreciating the class. I will ask you to enroll yourself for the December 2025 for your best of the practices, and you can see your results on our website. So till then, wait for the next class. We will come up with another important section. Till then, bye everyone. Take care.